That's my very first show with the new intro. I like it. Welcome, everybody. What's on to episode 44, wow, of Hobby Hotline, the Hobby's only live call-in show. As always, my name is Drew, or DH, whatever you prefer, and joining me today, we've got, first off, Deafness 45. What's up, man?
Well, it's good. Hope everybody's doing well. Ready to kick this show off. Let's go.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have much to talk about. And also joining me today is the one and only Stale Gum, a.k.a. Mr. Chris Harris. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Not much. What's going on, everybody? Cardboard Max, Terry, Brody, what's going on, bud? As always, guys, like I said, this is the Hobby's one and only live call-in show. So the point of that being, give us a call. Let us know. It's been a crazy busy week in the hobby, and I'm sure you've got something you want to talk about, whether it's a question, whether it's something you just want to get off your chest, whatever it may be, call in, let us know. We'll break this stuff down. But guys, I mean, I don't think we can start anywhere else. I think we have to start here. But the big news, if you've been living under a rock for the past week and you haven't heard this, but PSA selling, the behemoth PSA and Collectors Universe selling to Nat Turner, a fellow collector, somebody that I've actually met and gotten to know a little bit through at the National. But him and a group of people bought out PSA. And that'll take place in sometime at the beginning of the year. It looks like they're keeping Joe Orlando on at least for a year. I'm sure that was written into the contract. I doubt he lasts much longer than that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion, and everyone, please call in. Let us know what you think about this and everything. But guys, when you heard that PSA was bought for $700 million by a collector. I mean, now granted, it's a big ownership group that's also got, I believe, one of the Mets owners, I think, is in this also. A lot of big names in this outside of Nat, who, is only in Forbes as one of like the 30 for under 30 guys. But, I mean, what did you guys think when you saw PSA selling?
Well, first of all, I think we have to clarify something because it's not just PSA.
Yes, it's Collectors
Universe.
Yes.
Which actually also includes PCGS, which is the coin grading company, which is actually, I think, almost as big or even bigger than PSA itself.
Yes.
And PSA DNA, which is the autograph and authentication services. Yeah. They also have a couple other things. I think they also are the promoters of a show in Long Beach that runs like 3 or 4 times a year. They used to also grade other things like stamps, currency, casino chips, record albums, but I think they've since divested themselves of that. But it's just PCGS, PSA DNA, and the Long Beach Expo show for $700 million.
Yeah, Deafness, what did you think, man?
So I think me as a collector, me as someone in the hobby, I think as many other people, right? I mean, we say only part of this is PSA, but I think a big thing is PSA and the questions or the wondering of how things will change, right? What this will do, what kind of impact will this have in time frames, right? People waiting a long time to get their cards, getting them graded. Is there going to be some kind of what's the ultimate landscape going to look like? What's it going to look like? And what kind of difference in customer service, in timing, and getting cards graded? Can we get these back quicker? Are they going to be out for a year? Are they going to make the turns when they're supposed to? I think as a collector, and I think a lot of people, and honestly, I haven't really dabbed in much to grading personally. I'm actually going to be sending off my first batch to PSA when I head out to go visit a buddy that just opened a card shop out in West Virginia here next weekend. Bringing a bunch of cards, but I'll tell you that my big thing is when I heard about this really was, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna be, you hear it all the time. People are saying, waiting forever to get this unless you pay the quick turnaround, or what's the time, So I think that's, as a collector, and I think as a lot of other people out there, I think they would have those same kind of things when they first hear about this big transaction, if you will, of $700 million. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm somebody that grades a ton. I actually have it to where I pretty much now have PSA orders coming in every single week. Now it took a good 6 months of sending in every single week for that to happen. But, now it started to actually flow. So someone that deals with these turnaround times and deals with grading companies all the time, I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm more interested because not only Nat being a collector and me meeting him a couple of times, conversations we've had, I do think he's going to do a lot to right this ship. And I do think it's good to have somebody. I mean, I look at the way Leaf is run with one of our fellow co-hosts here, Brian Gray, a diehard collector himself. And that's a very well-run company. I think when you have those collectors in these positions, a lot of times you do end up seeing some massive improvements. Now, the one thing that's a little interesting for me is that Nat is, obviously he comes from the tech side of things. Now, you Chris, you mentioned that, they've got the coins, they've got the authentication, they've got all this other stuff. I'm wondering if this leads a little more towards tech in the grading industry a little bit more. I hope that means a little more than what PSA wanted to do, which was put a fancy little sticker on a slab and call that it. But I mean, I think this could possibly be the start of us seeing a little more technology in grading in terms of automation, whatever it may be. The
thing with automation is, and that this is a question that always comes up that I hear about grading.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying
why can't they just build this supercomputer?
Right. Well, they have those.
You spend $10 million, $20 million, $30 million on this computer up front and then just scan the cards in. Well, if it were that easy, it probably would have been done by now.
Yeah. No, I don't think, I don't think it'll ever, I wasn't meaning like, fully automation and grading. I just see their backgrounds into tech and I wonder, what we could see in terms of some type of improvement on something in this.
Well, what can be done that hasn't already been done or hasn't already been tried in grading in terms of tech? Because we already have the set registry and that's like, the PSA's killer app is the set.
Oh, yeah.
What else? What else can you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Outside of possibly something with centerings, possibly something with surfaces. I don't know, and I don't want to go too far off topic, diving into the logistics of it, but
because a lot of the issues regarding things like turnaround times.
Yeah.
These can't be solved overnight. You can't you can't just hire a bunch of jabronis off the street and give them a jeweler's loop and tell them to grade cards. Yeah. It's a skill. It's an acquired skill.
Yeah.
It takes time to master.
It's 6+ months at least of training before you're even out there.
Yeah.
So.
And when people complain about turnaround times, that problem's just not going to go away overnight. And it's not going to go away with a change in ownership. I mean, you can invest in training, but again, you have to hire people that have some level of hobby knowledge as well to know what they're looking for.
Sure.
And when it comes to hiring some of these people, there's also the issue of conflict of interest because you don't want people grading their own cards. You have to tell people that you want to hire that you can't deal in PSA graded cards anymore. You can't submit, you can't sell, And unless you're willing to pay people a lot of money to give up that part of their business, well, then you're not really gonna, it really doesn't matter who owns the company. You're not going to be able to recruit new graders.
Right.
I know. I think I went a little off topic there.
No, I do agree with you on that end. I do agree with you on that. And, hiring more graders isn't necessarily the issue. I do think that, I don't know what's going on, Rich, Uncle Rich in the chat there, as well as Bronx Boys and Aaron. Good morning. Hope you guys all are having a fabulous Saturday. Guys, please call in and join the show. Let us know what you think of the PSA sale. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? What do you think, is the future? Me personally, I don't think it can be looked at as anything but a good thing. I think that where they are, I mean, there's 1 million plus card backlog. I don't even want to know what it's gotten to now. That's just in the card side of things. They've gotten a massive new space. They've got all of this stuff locked down. The expansion and everything was planned. Now you're getting a whole new crew of people in there that hopefully are going to fix some of the logistical issues that they have. And I think their new space and all that may have solved some of those problems anyway. We'll never know now. If it was the ownership and stuff that was already in place or new things that Nat and them do. But I do like having, like I said, I always like harking back to Leaf and Brian Gray. I love when a collector is heavily involved in the company. And you see Nat especially kind of being the face of this, answering everybody's DMs, being very open and very, very willing to talk about this with everybody that wants to talk about it. And that right there is a massive step forward already from where we were before. And actually now I want to bring in somebody who really needs no introduction, but I get to give him one anyway. It's Mr. Uncle Rich Klein.
Mr. Klein.
This is a great topic. I'm happy for anybody who owns PSA stock who bought it like 15 and is getting 75 a share. That's pretty good profit right there. So good for you.
30% above 30% premium.
Right. So that good for all the stockholders.
Yeah.
But more importantly, and I want to bring up this point, one of our guest hosts, including to me, is Brian Gray. Mm-hmm. And Brian always stresses about how he's making markets in various PSA graded cards. Yeah. And Chris brought up, and I was not here for the beginning of the session, Chris brought up how hard it is to train and to pay people properly. Well, you have so many people with the demand for the graded cards that you fell behind.
Right.
And you have to hire more people thereof. And that's the conundrum where you're getting all these people coming in. They came back to the hobby. They bought, let's say, Prism. Is Prism out this week or is it coming?
Yes. No, it's out.
It should be.
Oh, yeah.
It's out.
Yeah. It's out.
So Prism is a very heavily graded product.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, it's easy enough to train people how to grade the new Prism product. That at least is easy enough to do. But you're going to have a lot of people sending them in. It's knowing how to do that. And one of Nat Turner's strengths is figuring out the electronic methods. Maybe you can knock some stuff off on the front end before the grader gives a quick one-off to look at a Prism card. I want somebody taking, if necessary, 2 to 3 minutes to look at a complex tobacco card or a complex Gaudi card, or to really figure it out. For the most part, on a Prism card, you don't need 2 to 3 minutes. You might not even need 30 seconds. You might need a 5 or 10 second examination. Okay, this looks like a 9. This looks like a 10. This looks like you're probably not even going to get 8s. So if you can speed up the process before that, then you've made a big progress. Then you've made real progress in knocking off your backlog.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of where I was going earlier. I think they may be able to. That really is their specialty, the electronics, that digital area. That's where at least he made it. Nat in particular, that's his bread and butter. So if they can do anything that helps, even whether it be the tracking of the order, the actually processing of the order. Like you said, anything well before the grading, where the grader actually even touches it. I think that's where the big advantage could be. But yeah, it's definitely exciting and something quite interesting. What did you think when you heard the price tag, Rich? You think that's
I thought we're in the big leagues now, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I heard the number of 700 million, it's like good for all concerned.
Yeah.
We're really in the big leagues. I mean, and granted, it's that Collector's Universe is more than just baseball cards.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we are a part of Collector's Universe, a big part, nevertheless, and a very profitable part.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's interesting. What's up?
One last question.
Yeah.
Does it concern anybody that a collector bought PSA?
No, not me, because I mean,
there have been rumor and innuendo about who was the guy that founded Hall, right? Who founded PSA?
David
Hall.
He
had like all this great PSA graded collection.
So like you're thinking like he's gonna have all Gen 10s of everything he puts in, whether it's Gem or not.
David Hall.
From what I read, if you saw Nat's collection on Instagram, and I'm not really on Instagram that much, most of Nat's big cards are in BGS holders.
Oh yeah, they are.
Does he have to grant those cards to PSA holders? I mean, you know, think about that for a minute.
Yeah, no, I follow Nat, and I have for a while. You're right, Rich. A ton of his big cards are in BGS holders. So when I saw that, I thought it was pretty funny. But I think had it been one sole collector buys this entire massive company and now has sole control over it, maybe I'd have a little concern. But with a massive company like this and the ownership group, you know, being that there is going to be a group, there is going to be a board, even though they're a private company and everything, there is going to be, you know, something along those lines. I don't have as big a concern as I normally would have.
I think you do need a collector or a collector type near, if not at the top, near the top. Look what happens to companies when they don't have collectors or collector bases running things.
Yeah.
Just look at
Tops.
Yeah.
Well, Tops, you know.
We'll
a lot of old.
We'll get into Tops later on today. Trust me.
But you know, that's what I'm saying though, is that I think it's good to have at least one person near the top that understands one of Jim Beckett's strengths, and you know, about running Beckett was that Jim was a collector. He was
right.
He had done all that, and then he sold the store that he had been a part of. He sold his share. He really wasn't he was really then became a type card collector to get stuff for the magazine and the books, but he understood the collecting aspect from both collecting and dealing, and that was really a big help. The people who founded Krause Publications, Chuck Krause was a collector. He was one of the major World War II collectors. It really helps to have a collector at or near the top. I don't have a problem. In fact, I'm encouraged that Nat's a collector.
Yes.
You know, I'm encouraged because he's near the top. He'll have some understanding of what collectors go through. Granted, he's got more money than all of us involved in the Hobby Hotline combined, but
I agree. And I think one thing too, I think you guys brought up a good point as far as him and seeing a lot of his collection with having a lot of cards in BGS holders. Maybe he preferred more BGS because of frustrations with other people. So again, what Rich says about understanding, I think it's a good thing to have a collector, somebody who's been through and had those frustrations. Again, we go back to the people always complain about how long it's taken, and it's been 6 months, it's been 12 months on the economy, you know, it's taken so long. I think him having that understanding, like Rich says, and being close and being at top of this company is a big benefit and a huge thing for PSA.
By the way, I will point out that Joe Orlando is a collector himself.
Yes.
And so having Joe involved, and I think Steve's a collector. I know one of Steve's good friends, the guy that actually messages the guy that manages the message boards. And I met him a couple of years ago, and we've been talking for years. He's a big collector. So they have a lot of collectors involved already on the staff. And that's a big help too. You know, it's not like you're bringing in people that are non-collectors. I'm also okay on a business level with bringing in non-collectors to help the collectors.
Yes.
That may have a way of looking at something on a business. Have you thought about this? Yeah. Yes, but this is why we don't do this. Or, hey, well, that's a great idea. That'll help us on both levels. So I don't have a real problem with some non-collectors meeting with collectors.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Rich. Scotty, welcome to the show. That's actually a perfect segue. Scotty wants to discuss some Prism football, and we're talking PSA. One thing that's being sent to PSA, I'm going to be guessing in the masses in the next couple of weeks. I know since retail's dropped, I know a bunch of people have sent a ton in. I'm sure now that Hobby's dropped, even more is being sent in to PSA. But Prism did release this week. Prism football finally out, and the price tags quite high. I remember. I always look back and remember when I was laughed at for collecting Prism, and when the boxes were when you could find boxes from 3 years before, you could find cases of them at Walmarts and at hobby shops. It was everywhere, and you know. Now look at Prism. We had the jumbos on Prism's website sell out at $1,000 a box in 8 minutes. Even when Panini released it earlier than they said, it still went out in 8 minutes. But the pricing on this is quite interesting. And I mean, the like Scotty said, also they did use a ton of the same photography that they did use in Draft Picks Contenders. But Scotty, I think that probably comes down to COVID and not having the rookie premiere, not having a chance to get too many photos photoshopped in time. But Prism.
Plus, I wonder how many photos are now being taken during a game compared to previous years.
Right.
There's probably less accessibility. So get used for all these companies to use the same photos for a while.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I mean, it's not necessarily what we want, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different product. It's different, you know, something like Prism too, where it has so many different variations in color. You know, I mean, you may have the same image, but you're getting that different card look at the same time. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Brody, to address the auto question, one of it is print run. They're going to be producing more, and they're going to get the same amount of autos, if not, you know, maybe a couple new parallels here and there. But Prism is one of those that's really not about the autos. I mean, there are a couple of autos, obviously, you know, if you pull a Mahomes and for the first couple weeks, Herbert's and, you know, Tua's will sell for a lot, and then they'll balance out heavily. But it's really not about the autos. It's more about all the other stuff, the colors, which is something that I've always loved about Prism. But the pricing now is, for football in particular, concerns me quite a bit, because until I see it, it's always been a quarterback or nothing driven league. And when you've got a massive set like this, and you've got maybe some Pat Mahomes colors, maybe some Lamar Jackson colors, and then 3 or 4 quarterbacks, you know, everybody else, they've got value now and they're selling high right now. But they always level off, and until I see the collecting world jump behind more than just quarterbacks, looking at these prices, it's a little ridiculous for me compared to other products that I can put my money into, such as Impeccable or something along those lines.
Right.
Jeff, you wanted to say something?
I will say something. The Justin Herbert 1/1 auto was pulled last night. Buck City Breaks pulled it. So guys, when that does play a part in pricing, because now that is already been pulled, you're going to probably start seeing a little bit. It's not going to be like a crazy down spike in pricing, but it's going to change things because people are after that. They're looking for that 1/1 top. And Herbert now, with Burrows getting hurt, that's probably your top quarterback. You talk about quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
In football, quarterbacks are where you go with the rookies, with the young guys. I mean, those are the ones that hold the highest value from the start. So Just keep that in mind. That Herbert 101 auto has been pulled. Now you still got the 101 non-auto.
That's the card.
Things. Yeah,
that's the card. I think that'll probably send it dropping even more. But you are right. That will affect the pricing. I did not know that was pulled. Congratulations to whoever pulled it. If you're out there watching, call in and show it off. That'd be great.
$1,250 a box to what? 1,200.
Well, hey, on eBay, I was looking actually at pricing right before we got on the show. On eBay right now, there's some guys that are selling for just under $1,000, like $999. Mm-hmm. Your hangers, your blasters, you're at like one something. Your hangers, you're at about 60 to 70, and your cellos, you're right around 40, $45 if you're looking at eBay pricing.
Right.
So just take that into consideration.
Now pricing or confirmed sales.
That's like buy it now, or make an offer. Yep.
Yeah.
You can buy it now for $9.99 or a hobby box 2 autos from a guy he's got tons. He got in bulk somehow, and he's got good feedback. So it's legit.
Got connections.
He's got the connections, right? Which, speaking on that, somebody had posted a video on Twitter the other day this week. There was actually a manager at a store like a Walmart. The dude actually has it on video, has it on film. Like he doesn't really show the manager's face. You can see his body in it. You can hear him talking. And he saw him like basically take all the product and take it out to his car.
Yeah.
So he had bought it. The manager did.
Yeah.
And he roasted him. The dude like had on video. He's like, and it wasn't even supposed to be released until the next day. I think the product he had the day he did it. He's like, that's not supposed to be released till tomorrow, right? He's like, are you okay with doing that? And he's like, well, I'm on my break. Yeah, I just took it from the back, and I'm gonna make a bunch of money now doing it. Like,
trust me,
someone like that should be fired. Like that should be a fireable offense. Like,
of course, and I think when every single store, whether it be Walmart or Target, even when a town as small as I live in, where we've got like Walmart and like Walmart as like things to get, when even here there's lines of like 10 people waiting for the person to card stock, I can only imagine what like an actual city must look like. So these managers see it, and what are you going to do? They're going to sit there, they're going to wonder, what are these guys doing? What are they standing there for? They figure it out, and if they don't have good morals, then that's what they do.
It'll be interesting because it's about time for me. I need to pick up a couple of things that Walmart's the best place to pick up. And it'll be interesting in a couple of days to just see what's on the stock, just what's on the shelves left at Walmart. It's a good, clean, I'm going to use the word good, clean Walmart. It's really one of the highest level Walmarts I've ever been in. But I doubt there's going to be very much left. I'll probably end up getting my blaster box of Gallery or something and saying thank you, and this is Charlie. I'm okay with that. As I said, I'm okay with that. But that's when it's that was a great comment I just thought, when it doesn't help the hobby when retail just explodes like that too, because the short-term hit is wonderful, but long-term for many people, the retail blaster boxes, which used to be a consistent market, that's their entry into the hobby. And now they can't even make the entry into the hobby anymore.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. It's very, very frustrating. And I see it. We live right near the Platinum Breaks guys. And they hire people to go around and they hunt. They go through. We see them at our Walmart. They're repping their stuff. They go wait and they hunt and they scoop it all up. And I completely agree. It does hurt the hobby when the retail is not available. We've discussed that on the show a couple of times. I hope eventually it changes. But 1 Million Cubs Project says his local vendor was handing out Prism to the line of guys waiting at Target, and he personally handed each person in line 1 box per person. I like that. I would love to see more vendors actually care and want to do something like that when there's a massive line like that. Now, if you stumble upon it, and it's there, I don't know. It's up to what you want to do. But the whole bum rushing the people is what I kind of have a little issue this week. But But yeah, you can definitely, like Ziggy No says, you can find Bowman Platinum and Topps Update on the shelves. No one wants it.
I'll be perfectly if it's on the shelves when I go in. I'll be happy to buy a blaster of each just to break and have fun. I'm at that price point. I'm perfectly happy.
Dude, I've bought.
You do not want to break Bowman Platinum.
I have broken.
Look, if it's $19.99, if it's $19.99, I'll break it just for the joy of opening it. Okay,
Dude,
I mean, that's a $20 bill. I can usually live with that.
I've been buying Update since it came out just because that's the only thing that's been on the shelves, and I like opening cards with Jude. So we've been buying Update and Pokemon, and I'm actually glad I've bought Update. I've got, right now at PSA, I've got a blue Arizona, I've got a rainbow foil Arizona, I've got the gold, I've got all of them sent up there. So it's been great to me. Now, Platinum this year, I think Topps really... I don't know if they just didn't have time or I don't know what they did, but that was a mess of a product this year trying to the configuration. I see a lot of people in the comments talking about Bowman Platinum being overpriced and how they didn't do the best job. They really did change the configuration up quite a bit on it to adjust for print runs. And to adjust for the increase in print runs. Instead of raising the prices of boxes, you're going to see new configurations that are going to have a different price on it. And so by doing that, some products, it's a swing and a miss. It looks like Platinum, at least from everybody's answers right here, not a big hit.
Okay, I have a trivia. Speaking about Bowman Platinum and Update, I have a trivia question. How many players made their major league debut in 2020?
Oh,
I want to guess
3.
Right,
handful.
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't get any rookie cards though.
5. I'll say 5.
212.
Holy cow!
Wow.
You want to see what and remember, Update doesn't have rookie cards. There are a few people like Louis there who got RCs this year and a couple of others, but for the most part, most of the people who debuted this year did not get rookie cards.
Yeah, they just got the debut.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose of Update.
This year was kind of funky. This year was really funky.
Yeah.
Think about how good the rookie card class could be with not just whoever makes their debut this year, but whoever makes their debut next year.
Yeah.
You could have 300 people qualify as rookie cards first sets in 2021.
Yeah.
No. Quantity doesn't necessarily mean quality.
Usually if you have 300, I guarantee you 3 will end up with good careers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's Bowman every year,
Right. But that's going to be, I think that, we're talking about that, but think about Prism Baseball next year with that many people to choose from as rookies. Not everybody's going to hit. There's probably going to be a bunch of 30-year-old middle inning relievers that, they'll get 3 seconds and then they'll realize, wait a second, this doesn't work. But there's enough young people who came up because of the funkiness of the year. And then you'll have more next year. Don't be surprised to see this continue at least through Prism Baseball, Prism Basketball and Prism Baseball.
Yeah. No, yeah, I didn't know by any means that number was going to be that high, Rich. I'm kind of excited now for I'm going to be really interested to see how they do Series 1, Series 2, and Update next year, because you've got so many people. I mean, 200 rookies, right? Possible rookies right there. That you take most of that. That's enough to fill up basically an entire year's set right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You almost have to have the rookies, bring back the rookies set or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Update should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the Players Association wants to goose up the first series of next year's cards.
Well, if you remember, this year, as I said, is a little bit different. The old arrangement going into this year used to be.
No, it was last year too, because you remember Jordan Alvarez, who was the Rookie of the Year last year, did not have a rookie card in 2019.
That was a miss.
And a lot of like who's the guy with the red? Aristide?
Aquino.
He didn't even play in the majors this year, by the way. So
no.
Yeah, well, okay. But he should have had a rookie card this year, in 2019.
Where the call-ups September 1st and after were in next year's rookie class, where you could use the rookies before September 1st. And I still think if you're going to do that, that's at least a good divining point. I know that
that's what it was supposed to be, but the Players Association changed it last year and didn't tell anybody.
Right. Wonderful.
So
real quick,
go back to that rule, because that's how you keep products going all year long. Because the pre-September 1st can get you to the end of the year, then the post-September 1st can get you to the early products of the next year. So I think they're making a mistake on that. I think the old rule actually makes sense, and that's the one they wanted originally, and that's a good rule.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And you could take it up with a guy named Zvi Geffen. He was the guy who used to be the product developer of the Bowman brand. Then he got hired by the Players Association, and he's now in charge of all of their trading card elements. He's the guy who changed the rules.
Yeah.
Complain to him.
Now, real quick.
Hopefully I get to meet him again. I actually met him at the Million Card Rip this year.
Nice. Well, Brody actually
asked him about it.
Brody actually brings up. Brody actually brought up a really good question in the comments. Jumping back over to Prism for just a moment, he asked if Prism football is $1,000 a box this year, with next year's quarterback class being the most hyped up in a while. Do you think $1,000 for a box is cheap compared to what we see next year? Do you think this is going to continue for football? So basketball, I think it does.
It went from $250 to $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Just this year.
Yeah.
Right. So you can imagine, $1,500 maybe would be a target. $2,000 might be a target price for that. And here's the other thing: if retail continues to be sold out the way it is and not available, that is really what's pushing and driving everything else up too. So if things don't change, which I don't see them changing in the foreseen future, I would assume that it's going to be even crazier next year. I mean, you can only imagine. So.
No, I completely agree. The only thing I worry about is with football is when people start to see all the other players in this year's class in a weaker quarterback class, so to speak, where there are some very, very good ones, but not like last year's, not like, the previous, not like next year's. If they see too much of a drop in all the running backs, the wide receivers, the defensive players, that right now I'm blown away at what Chase Young stuff and players like that are actually going for right now compared to what they will be going for in a couple of months. I wonder if people are going to see through the football much faster than they will basketball, because I think basketball is just too strong. It's a small draft class every year. You don't have hundreds of rookies. You've got 50 that they put in there every year, and that's it.
Chris, you wanted to say something?
So who is projected to come out next year as far as quarterbacks? There's Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson, right?
Yeah,
pretty much projected to be maybe the number 1 overall pick.
Texas, Eisenberg. There's
the kid from North Dakota State, Trey something. I can't remember his name. He's supposed to be really good. They're saying up to 6 quarterbacks could be first round picks. I haven't looked into all 6 of them yet. I normally look into that during the off season, during Roughing the Passer, when John and I do some of our research on the draft.
TCU, Oklahoma State's got a good one. I mean, there's a lot of guys up there that are like
Trey Lance. That's really good. 1 million Cubs. Thanks. Yeah. There you go. Brody the Kid's got it for us. Thanks, Brody. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson,
Kyler Trask,
Wilson,
Florida Gator, Kyle Trask. That guy is throwing like 6 TDs a game.
No, that's enough to bring a product up high. So maybe the price does continue to rise. But real quick, guys, I do want to bring in another one of our co-hosts, your pal Val, joining the show with us now, as I've got to actually go coach and take pictures for my kids' soccer team. So I'm going to bounce out of the show today, guys. It's been a pleasure, and please check it out on the podcast if you missed it live.
Adios, buddy.
And I will talk to you guys later.
All right, buddy. Later.
See ya.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
What's
Val.
up?
I love all this.
Nice jacket.
What
Look
is
at that thing. That thing
Look
is.
at you.
Look at that.
Holy Spirit, go,
That,
Val,
that come
go.
out of Chris Jericho's closet with the lights, or
Are you also wearing Chevy Chase's white loafers he got from his old cousin?
I don't know. That looks like Chris
Cousin
Sager.
Eddie.
That looks like Chris Sager or Lindsey Nelson to me.
Well, thank you guys.
Like the intro. He didn't even have
Yeah,
to
I
say
know.
anything. He just showed his thing.
You just light up any room. you
Yeah.
I
Right.
sure do. Well, you know,
Yeah.
I can only wear this a couple of times a year, so. And I
But
thought, why not? You know. So yeah, I've been listening to the show. It's been great, and it just blows my mind about these prices. Being a NASCAR trading card collector, I'm very fortunate or thankful that we don't see the surge that the other sports are seeing.
okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about retail and people tracing it all down. One of my mantras has always been that the end game for companies is selling direct to consumers. We see that with Topps all the time now. You know, with all the stuff they
do we
do.
ever?
What?
Do we ever with Topps?
Yes, we do. I mean, I get the email every day from Topps with what they're selling. But on a serious level, my point is not just first on the line, but if we really want to stop some of this retail inanity, wouldn't it just make more sense for the companies to sell direct the $29.95 a box to consumers, the same things you would get from the shelves at a Walmart or a Target, and like say, guys, if you don't get it on the shelves, just buy it here. That would also depress the price and would prevent the price explosion. You know, if they sell out at $29.95 and then it explodes, you know, that's their choice.
I'm figuring
Panini like selling a bunch of stuff via Dutch auctions now.
Well, they're hobby
Like
boxes.
a lot of the
yeah.
hobby
Hobby
boxes.
boxes.
Right, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about the retail boxes too, as another outlet just to prevent some of this insane things from going on.
I think the reason they can't do that is they probably have exclusives or something kind of contract with the distributors, right?
Distributors.
With Excel or whatever. I'm sure Excel does not want that. You know, how much, Uncle Rich, you might know this a lot more than I do, or some of this. The companies make the products, and then they must be guaranteed some kind of distribution, or
They guarantee it to places like Excel. I think there are two companies, Excel and another one that does.
MJ Holding, I think,
MJ
is the other
Holdings.
one.
and then either they have to hold it for so long, or like with the hobby boxes that I see with Panini selling for NASCAR, it's always, you know, the SRP, while the big three will have it lower, you know. So I mean, I would love to see that.
I'm spitballing here, but I think it's profitable. But if all of this is going on with hobby products, and people are, you know, I saw in the chat how there's this girl, I don't know how old she is, getting stalked because she's the person delivering. I mean, if it starts becoming unsafe, you have to start thinking of other distribution methods. You don't want people basically, I want to use the word being mugged. They're not being mugged, but basically being harassed or being. What?
Yeah, I saw that in the comments. I would love to be able to read that contract or how often those contracts come up for new renegotiation with the distributors.
But I guarantee you, if something really happens bad, like somebody really gets something really bad happens, I guarantee you they will look at that contract like in 24 hours and try to, you know, if something really bad happens, they will try to fix something because you don't want people getting hurt. You know, you don't want people being afraid for their lives or their jobs just for doing their job. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but I think
thankfully there are no death threats yet or anything, and thankfully Twitter hasn't gotten on these people. But the day's coming.
Yeah, not surprised that we haven't had more of these like Black Friday. Remember, years ago you'd hear about the fights and everything else going on with the Black Friday for the TVs and other stuff. I would expect that we would see some of that right now for, retail for these boxes. I mean, if you can double and triple your money in 24 hours, that these, folks are, that's why they're doing it. They're not doing it to open. So it's coming, I guess. But I think, to your point, I think Topps and Panini definitely want to go that route. They can charge more for the product and cut the distributors out. I think they were testing the water with some of these online exclusives. It's just a matter of time before they can roll out everything. Again, I don't know what the shelf life is of that contract.
I think there's also a difference between a lot of these online exclusive products and traditional, I don't want to use the word flagship style products. I think there's, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, Chris, I know where you're coming from. What you're saying is that, like, Topps Now or Topps On Demand or even Project 2020 is not something necessarily that the average person going into a Walmart or a Target or even a hobby store might care about. They want to buy packs, open packs. So there is a delineation between a specialty item and a mainstream item. Because
what was it, like 5 years ago, Topps tried to sell Finest only online. They didn't distribute it to hobby stores, and it didn't sell all that well. So maybe for traditional hobby releases, this kind of model didn't necessarily work 5 years ago, but may or may not work now.
And this year's a little bit different, but if you remember 25 years ago now at this point, Topps Chrome basketball, no dealers wanted it. So it ended up being retail only. And then
nobody wanted Topps Chrome when it first came out.
Right. I think that was the first Topps Chrome product. Is 96 basketball.
Yeah, baseball. There was a baseball set too that
I don't think 96 well. Yeah,
I remember them doing the 2012 mini, and they did it to national, and then did online exclusive for the wax.
Mini was always that way. I think Mini's always been that way. You could buy a box and then get some other stuff from it at the national. You'd get something in addition if you bought. It was like $50 for a box at the national, and it was distributed that way. And that was a great distribution method to get the word out. And,
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, and I was saying that it makes sense for Topps to sell through the website. But, I just realized, like what you originally said, is that this is an entry into the hobby. So, you have to be careful if they only have these products available on the website.
Well, but I think if you can have them both, I think if you can somehow have them both, then you can still have the entree into the hobby with the in-person experience for the person that walks in. Oh, cards, these are cool. And then for the people that, hey, I don't want to have to fight through 20 people to get these products. I don't want to be the one stalking the poor woman making the deliveries or something.
But that would mean increased production runs.
Yeah, and I think
those shelves are stocked, which may not be a bad thing right now.
No,
to be honest.
So I was thinking,
and then if interest tapers, you lower back the print run. We've been through this before.
Like when I worked at Lance Crackers and stuff, that we had Lance employees that went and stocked the shelves, kind of similar to like Excel and them. So do you just, and I guess the follow logic here is that they produce so much that they just send it to the Walmart and the Walmart employee puts it out instead of Excel? Or do you remember, I'm sure, Rich, you remember the days when you can go to the Sam's Club and buy a case?
The black line across the top of the box.
Well, no, it wasn't even that.
No, I know.
It was BJ, in New Jersey, it wasn't Sam's Club, it was BJ's Wholesale, and the dealers who had stores would wait online and buy their cases at BJ's Wholesale and then bring them to the store for their small markup so they could have new wax in their stores. I know several dealers who did that in the 80s.
I remember going to Sam's Club and there was a case of, is it 89 score, the football, that first year, didn't buy a box. They had cases.
I vaguely remember seeing on Twitter a photo of, I can't remember if it was a BJ's or if it was one of those wholesale clubs, and they were selling like hanger boxes of Donruss football this year or last year's. So it is maybe going back to that model again.
I think, they need as many distribution models as they probably can handle to get that product out there.
Jeff, your thoughts?
I mean, like I said, like I'm seeing a lot of people in here too, as far as like talking about having some access online or doing it some different way. The problem you're going to run into is the problem with everything we try to get, whether it's hobby related, retail related, whatever. If there's any kind of access to buying stuff online and it's something that's popular or something everybody wants, we got to figure out, and there's no way to figure it out, I don't think. We got to eliminate bots, right? Bots are a huge issue because in the Dutch auctions, everything else, when Panini does it on their sites and they sell stuff down, you're having bots constantly buying everything out. So whether we try to wait in a line at a store with the rest of the crew and try to get something, or we try to go online, I mean, we're in a very difficult time right now in the hobby if you're wanting to get product, period. Like if you're wanting to rip product, period, we are in a very difficult time. You either have to pay a lot more than what it's marked at. And Rich, you had talked about like the $29.99 and whatnot and change the pricing. I've been talking about this within my community, my people, for a while. I've been saying since this spike in retail, I would assume that blasters in retail stores are probably going to hit that $29.99 price soon. Why would they not, unless there's something contracted because they're getting it for whatever price through direct from Panini or whoever, or the I guess the vendors, right? MJ Holdings or whoever it is. Why wouldn't they take advantage too and try to capitalize on more money, unless there is some flaw or contract thing like from direct putting it on within Walmarts and Targets or whatever. But I think your $19.99 blaster is something that's going to be gone here soon. Even if you could get your hands on it, it's not really a reality for most of us anyway, because you can't typically find them, so you're paying more than $19.99. But I think it'd be silly for them to not up the price in the stores, right?
Now, is that happening?
Because
somebody had a picture of them going on the Walmart website, and Walmart was selling it, and they were not $19.98 anymore. They were, like you said, like 21 something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I think some stores might be, but I think the general you see is when you see people showing pictures of the empty boxes on the shelves, you're still seeing this. For a majority of it, you're still seeing that same $19.99, whatever, different price points of what they normally are. But if managers, like, let's say there's some new thing where managers are like, they can, and they should get fired, but like there's a higher thing on watching it and controlling it and not allowing them to, and they can get fired or something if they're buying it before it's supposed to be released and they're buying it all out and putting it, on their break. Why wouldn't they, like, I know it's not, I know like inventory wise and stuff, it's not through those stores. And that's one thing everybody's got to remember too. Like, it's a consignment, it's the vendors. So like when they do inventories at those stores, it doesn't affect them. If people steal the product or they do whatever with it, it doesn't affect the store per se, because it's not counted as any inventory. They DNI it, do not inventory. But why wouldn't they up pricing? Like if they're seeing it everywhere for 3 times the price, why wouldn't they go up $10 a blaster? Again, unless there's some kind of clause in like the contract with the vendors or something. I don't know, in Panini. So kind of my take, my 2 cents.
No, you're right.
Jeff, you said your community. I'm just curious how many, and I, not necessarily the inner circle, but how many people are in your community, give or take?
Well, I mean, I have over 2K followers on my YouTube. when I go live, there's anywhere from, depending upon if it's auction night or if it's just a live stream, anywhere from 20 to 50, 60 people usually at a time.
You have a pretty big community because you get a notification. If you're a YouTube subscriber, you get a notification every time you do something.
Yeah. Yep.
So you have a large community. I mean, and they're all I'm going to presume if they're following you, they're active in the new card world. Is that correct?
Yes, 100%.
So if they're following you, you've got 2,000 people, and the old joke is for every 2,000 people, each of them tell 10 other people or 5 other people.
Right.
Your reach is actually pretty wide.
Yeah.
Even if you're not being watched that many live, you have a pretty wide reach.
Yeah. My line that I always live by is, I may not touch 1 million people, but I might touch one that can touch 1 million, right? Like there's things that are said and foreseen. You're not probably going to reach the wider, huge audience, but you're going to hit a smaller audience that can then maybe affect, or maybe somebody out there will be someone that gets a very large following that can touch or hit 1 million people. So
Now is that, and what you're saying, I'm going to presume is a natural part of your community. Most of your community agrees with you on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
But I think you touched on it. I don't know if everybody caught it. That, like I was saying with Lance Crackers, is that they pay folks to be in the store and on whatever shelf, and then they stock the product and not necessarily the Walmart. So when it's run through the register, that Walmart may take a smaller percent of it, but that it goes back to the seller, so that distribution or distributor.
But that's true for every retailer. I mean, you see the delivery guy for Pepsi bringing in the Pepsis. You see all the grocery stores, unless it's something that they do themselves, which occasionally happens. But if you go down the packaged good aisles, all of that stuff is unless it's the home brand, is sent out to General Mills for cereal, or whoever owns General Mills. And even in the beef section, we have Nolan Ryan beef here. I guarantee you the Nolan Ryan beef person delivers Nolan Ryan beef.
Right, but people might not understand that. So.
All right. Awkward silence.
There's
silence. I mean,
I can almost hear his lighting.
Well, I know we had talked about a few different things about so much prism and chromium on products, but I don't know if we have time to talk about all that or.
I know the other topic we were going to touch is Topps chroming everything to excess, where every single thing Topps does is now chromed.
Garbage Pail Kids, baby.
I saw that.
Not just Garbage Pail Kids chrome, but Garbage Pail Kids sapphire chrome.
Yeah.
So who's buying? Is that something?
Not me.
You know what I hear though? I hear that the price, like the resale, is going to be probably 2 to 3 times the price. What the standard price coming out is. That's word of mouth. That's what I heard. So everybody goes crazy over sapphire.
We're laughing about Garbage Pail Kids. However, just remember it's part of the sweet spot of people who have come back into the hobby. There were a bunch who collected. Garbage Pail Kid brings
Series 1 and 2, big money. Big money. And so bringing that, you still own the name. You can profit off that name. As a business, you do that. And that's to remember. We may think it's, Topps may say, this is good. So we have to look at it that way too. Cha-ching. Pay-clerk. Ding, 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 ding.
What's that? That's pre-sale Monday.
Especially in sports, when it comes to chroming a product, you don't have to pay for the photos again. In a sense, it's a parallel. You don't have to pay to have a new product done. That's considered a parallel product. That's not considered a new product as it comes to licensing. Chris, I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one.
I think you are, yeah.
That's genius, actually.
And so why not chrome instead of having to buy new photos, instead of having to do all sorts of new stuff, instead of having to hit another set towards your maximum for the year? There you go. You've made a product, and you're probably going to make money on it, and you go from there. And you also, what did Topps have? $18 million that they have to pay MLBPA last year?
Something like that.
it was something like 18 million, 17.8, 18 million. You've got to come up with that money somehow.
Yeah, those payments are due, right?
Yeah, those payments are due.
But anyway, you sell ring pops or whatever it is, you need to sell. Like you said, it's actually a genius because all the photos and everything's already done.
Exactly.
Just
one man's genius is another man's laziness, though.
What?
I understand that, but this way you don't have to. I don't want to use the word waste a product brand, but this way you don't have. If you can only make 20 product brands a year, you don't have to create the 21st. Then you just copy what's at number 17. Still leaves you 3 more products you can do for the year. That's on a business level. That's not on a we in the hobby likes. That's on a Topps looking at it as business. I know, Chris. I get your point.
That's insulting the intelligence of collectors. That's what it is. It's getting us to buy something we already have and getting us to buy it over and over again. That's Topps' business model. I mean, how many different versions of flagship baseball are there?
You don't want to.
There's regular Topps.
Chris,
there's opening day. There's Chrome. There's Mini. There's 3D. There's the UK edition. There's Sapphire Chrome. They're all the same cards.
Wait a second. It's worse than that, Chris. That's more parallels to some extent of the photo. If I wanted to do a pure collection without touching Chrome, without touching, Chrome refractors, without touching all that, if I got card number 2, Nick Solak, who's the Rangers rookie this year, the only one in Series 1. How many cards do you think make up, without touching Topps Chrome or Topps Sapphire, including printing press, how many cards do you think are directly related as of today to Nick Solak, card number 2, if he was card number 2? Jeff?
No idea.
Let's see, there's a dozen parallels in Topps. There's a dozen refractors in Chrome.
Yeah, maybe 100.
There's like 5 or 6.
100?
I mean, every product has 5 or 6 parallels.
100,
So we're looking at
120.
maybe at least 100 different versions. Nick Solak card.
I'm not talking about.
And they're all the same card.
I'm just talking about card number 2, not the Chrome card, not anything related.
You're just talking how many were manufactured of just 2?
No, how many different
parallels?
Topps pink, Topps camo, Topps this, Topps gold, Topps missing foil.
Yeah, there's at least in flagship. There's at least a dozen parallels.
22.
22. Okay, so
22. The last time I counted in the ComC database, there were 22 different ways you could just do a flagship base card. Think about that for a second. If I wanted to do a pure rainbow or if I was a Nick Solak master collector, before I even hit Chrome, I'd have to have 22 different regular old Topps cards. Before I even hit Bowman, before I even hit Bowman Chrome, before I even hit Topps Chrome, before I even hit Finest. Think about that for a second, though.
Okay, so my question to that is, why? Why do you need 22 different Nick Solak cards when they're all literally the same card?
Because somebody out there is buying them.
Is different.
Somebody's chasing them.
Somebody out there is interested.
And some of these cards you cannot collect because somebody's got the 1 of 1. There's the 1 of 5. There's the plates. You're never going to be able to collect all 22 of them.
And another point, stale. But then another thing is there's only 1 of the 1 of 1. There's only 1 of whatever, right? So then it almost even, because there's somebody out there that's trying to complete the rainbow. How many times do you guys see on your social platforms, I'm working on a rainbow of this player, that player? So you land, you're not even chasing a Solak 1 of 1, but if you land that 1 of 1 Solak, there's somebody out there that you can find that is doing that rainbow. You're going to probably be able to get a decent penny for it if you want to be that person.
But that's one player, and assuming that there is a Nick Solak super collector.
But there's somebody.
One is some Joe Jabron.
But there's somebody that's doing a rainbow of just about any rookie or any main player, right? So you're correct. There is only probably one guy that's doing, or that one player. But think about all the different rookies and all the different players. It amazes me because some people have a connection to some individual player, may not even be a rookie, may not even be a big name, may not even be a huge star. They know them because related to some family thing, or it's a cousin to somebody or whatever, or they know him, they met him, and they're wanting the rainbow of that guy. I mean, it's like they always say, there's somebody that's collecting anything and everything out there. Like somebody wants that card or this card or what you're getting. I mean, you know,
there are two people. There's one person from my high school. I don't do rainbows. I only buy the cheap card. But there's one guy from my high school currently in the major leagues, and that's Harrison Bader. If I really wanted to, that would be a fun collecting focus. How many different Harrison Baders I could get for a year? You know, basically, if I see them in a nickel or a dime box, I just buy them regardless at this point because I don't care. You know, they're not going anywhere other than into my inventory box, and if I die with them, I die with them. It's not a big deal,
right?
You know, right. But I would do a rainbow of a Harrison Bader because, as Jeff points out, that's something I'd be interested in collecting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're the one Harrison Bader fan out there, okay, what happens to all the other parallels? Nobody's going to collect these. Nobody's going to want an orange refractor numbered to 25.
If I get
those cards are never going to sell for any price. These cards do not add value. They give the appearance of value.
They make the collector feel good about opening a pack. That's the real reason they're there. I mean, I know enough, you know, I've had enough talks with my Panini friends on this. One of the things was before all this happened, and the Panini boxes were $80 and $100 as a normal course of events. You felt good after you opened the Panini box because there was something in every single pack. You know, it may not be what I like, it may not be what you like, but there was something you felt good about getting out of every pack. And then you get your autographs, and then you get your relic card. You get something you felt good about. You know, and like with Topps Flagship, I always felt good when it was a $45, $50 box. I felt good. I mean, not that I got a lot of great value out of it in terms of getting my money back, but I got the inserts, I got the parallels, I got something out of every single pack. And, you know, and at the lower price point, getting something out of a pack is not the worst thing in the world.
Well, I think that's part of the problem with the way a lot of products are constructed these days is the need to continue to add value, the need to continue to put $2.50 worth of cards in every $2 pack. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, he realizes you don't have to put $2.50 in every pack, but you need to construct the boxes where it makes sense. You know, Val will understand this better than anybody because he does racing, and Panini has the racing exclusive. They do something in every box that you feel good about. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you know, to your point, like if you get a low number card, I remember opening the 2016 Prism and getting, you know, like a 1 of 5 card or something. And to your point, is it might not be a driver that I collect, but there are collectors for every driver, no matter who it is. You know, so to your point, I knew.
To be fair, there are fewer number of NASCAR drivers than there are baseball players.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And it's only like 4 or 5 a year.
Sometimes you have the crew chiefs or the owners that you may not have as many people collecting as the drivers. You know,
we're just waiting for Michael Jordan cards now.
Hey, you know, Michael Jordan cards, and isn't he with somebody else famous on owning the team that Bubba Wallace is on?
Denny Hamlin is the
okay.
So Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, and Denny Hamlin has ties to Joe Gibbs Racing naturally, so they could be pretty good right out of the gate. Kind of like when Tony Stewart started his own Stewart-Haas team that eventually they won the championship.
The only problem you're going to have with Michael Jordan is that it's a Panini product, and there's no way in the world Panini's is going to be able to get away with putting Michael Jordan's photo on a card. If you remember, there was the lawsuit about the basketball when he's in the background, way hidden in the background of an NBA card.
Well, that's different than standing next to the car, though.
They won't be able to do that. I'm serious. Upper Deck will immediately sue on that one.
I disagree with that. I think him in a suit or whatever, and whatever,
No,
as long as he's not in a basketball uniform,
Upper
as
Deck
is
has
the
the right to
rules.
all Michael Jordan images, I believe, at this point. I don't think you're going to see that. You might be able to mention that on the back because that's a fact, but you won't be able to show a photo of Jordan. I'll be interested to find out, but I'll wager I'm right.
We shall see.
Yeah.
But it would be an interesting court case if they do.
Yeah, I'm still curious, or still waiting to see some publicity with him. When they unveiled the car, they had Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace, but Michael Jordan was nowhere to be seen.
By the way, did you notice Denny Hamlin's in some commercial for, I forgot what place it was?
Domino's?
Domino's, yes.
Oh, yeah, they're running it quite a bit here in North and South Carolina. So
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I saw that commercial. I started laughing. Nice pajamas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why NASCAR lends itself perfectly for these relics and stuff. When you get some of those fire suits cut up, there's nothing better than a nice colorful swatch, or even the big prime swatches where you can get the whole FedEx patch or what used to be Monster Energy patches. So,
well, you get whatever patch you get whatever patches the driver has. They have a lot of patches on their suits. So,
yeah. But Chris, to answer your thing, we only have 4 products, and one of them is the high end. So really, only 3 products a year for NASCAR. So I think
so you have fewer. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say National Treasure, I think, is releasing next week. But go ahead.
So you have not only just fewer products, but fewer drivers. So you have more. So you have less. I don't know what other term. Less spoiled players. And what I mean is players that no one actively collects that much of. Commons. I guess that would be the term that I would use.
It's a 100-card set, and a few of them are the last 20, 30 maybe subsets. But for the most part, you have all the Cup drivers, a few of the Xfinity drivers.
Yeah, and every one of those drivers has their fan base. But what I'm saying in a sport like baseball, where you have a product like Series 1 Top that's 350 cards, a lot of those players don't have those kinds of fan bases. And if you pull a card, a low number parallel of that card, there's not going to be much of a demand for it.
No, I can definitely understand that, because if you are I don't know how to say this. So when I had built a 1969 top set and some other early sets by hand, one at a time. And when you're assembling those, you have all the big stars, and then you get into these other guys. To your point, is like, I didn't even know this guy played ball, and I was only there for a year or two and was gone. So
I think Wax Pack Scott wrote an article today, or a blog post, about 69 Topps Bruce Look rookie card from the Twins, who was a catcher in '68. That's his only major league experience, and that's it for him. And he's got a card. He's got a card. People, now he has a way to sign stuff, and good for him. And Jeff, I'm curious what you're playing with.
Oh, did you guys not see me? They know, or at least Val knows. Before the call, I was on hold with my bank. Okay, and this is kind of a hobby-related topic.
Yes.
So it is, and I'm going to forewarn people. If you guys, I use Pirate Ship, okay? That's the software, the website I use to print labels, so I don't have to wait in a line at a post office. It's very convenient. You can get those thermal printers, or you can use your regular inkjet printer, and you can I buy like the bulk 1,000 labels to print through the printer, and then I get my bubble mailers through Uline or wherever. Save money, cut costs where you can. So every single week, almost every single week, I have my sports card auctions on Tuesday nights on my channel, right? Because I run a company, a business. So all my guys know that Friday nights, after I go do whatever with the kids, go out to dinner or whatever, Friday nights I spend packaging everything up, printing labels, running labels, yada, yada, yada. So I'm having all these transactions on my bank account for $3, $4 individually, because you got to do them one at a time. And every single week, Bank of America blocks or locks my account for too many transactions. So before the show, I was trying to get on a call when I came in, and I actually was annoying what's his face, the DH. He's like, I'm getting so sick of hearing Bank of America, because it was a whole thing. And I kept muting, unmuting. And then I just decided like 10 minutes before 11 to call him, because it's a half-hour wait typically to get on the call. And they ended up calling, but it was already an hour after the show. So I had to take the call. Otherwise, I was going to wait another hour to talk to him again to unlock my cards. I tried to trick him this time. I have 2 checking accounts. Instead of doing 25 transactions on one account, I did 12 on one and like 10 or 13 on the other. And guess what? They blocked both of my cards. Both of my cards.
As a former employee of Bank of America, in the mortgage division, I will tell you they monitor everything really carefully.
Oh man, but I tell them.
But that is to your benefit
every week.
Jeff,
but Jeff, I know.
That's also to your benefit.
I know, but I tell them every week, if it's pirate ship and there's multiple transactions, try to note something in there or something so we don't go through it.
Jeff, I would actually, in that case, go to your branch if you have one near you, and I'd actually make an effort to go to the branch, not just do it over the phone. So to me, this is one of these cases where you should do face-to-face communication.
Yeah, I got you.
I would actually make a note and said, look, guys, this happens every single week.
Right.
You're my branch manager. I like to talk about this. Develop relationships. Develop a relationship with your local bank. Just don't do it all virtually. Go there. Let them see you. Let the branch manager see you. So then if you're having this problem constantly, you can just go to the branch manager and say, look at all this money I'm getting you. Can't you do something?
Yeah, I agree. That's
when the branch manager starts getting involved, then your problems start ending.
That's good. That's good advice. I'm gonna have to do that, because I run through this every single week. Every week, it's the same thing.
I think, Rich, if you take an hour instead of calling every week for an hour, and you go down there and set a thing and talk to them, and go old school and
I know them all very well, because I'm in there every Friday. But
know them all. Go.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe they do something internally to know, hey, pirate ship is okay for you, and
it's a great software. It just sucks when you do a ton of transactions in a row, because they like to block it up, because they're like, what is this?
So that's actually very good hobby. That's actually a really good hobby topic. I mean, we can touch that another time.
Yeah.
About the problems for both ends.
Tools that people can use to cut costs, and what they're selling, when they're selling a lot of stuff.
I think that's a good general topic to do. Yeah. That's one thing we look for here is we do specifics. But I think even better general topics like that are worth doing too. I don't want to say dry hobby tutorial lectures, but just discussing what a few people.
Well, did you guys see about getting the stickers for tracking regular envelopes?
What's it?
So I saw it on Twitter, and I think maybe Big Chef about the cards had retweeted, but there was a video on YouTube where you can go out to the post office website and get a roll of 50 stickers that have the tracking number on it, and it's all free. I have them. It's been shipped now, so that I'm going to try it out. And basically, folks, that you can put a stamp on a letter, and for eBay and stuff, you need that tracking number to have that. So it's a sticker that includes that tracking number, so that when that letter goes through, and he mentioned something about paying a little bit more for postage. And it's a do not machine stamp.
Yeah.
And you put that sticker on there, and then it'll get scanned in and traced through the system. So I'm going to try that out.
You'll have to let us know. Yeah, you'll be like the guinea pig for the Hobby Hotline crew. You have to let us know. Report back with.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of that, but I thought that was very interesting. And I hate charging the $350 or whatever it is for shipping on my eBay auctions, but it's because I need to send it. In bubble mailer and with tracking. Otherwise, I get, if you have so many sales and you enter your shipping information in within a certain amount of time, you can be a preferred like eBay seller and get discounts on your eBay fees and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I do that shipping. And I always like to be able to have it tracked, because as I get to see where it's going, and the customer naturally gets to see that, okay, it's in the system and they know when it's coming. So, so anyway, I like that tracking. So yeah, I'll have to report back, but a big shout out to Big Shep about the cards, and I can't remember the guy who actually.
So Val, you'll have to report back to us, because if you're seeing some of these comments, these last few comments on here, I think it's in regards to this. Okay. But the 1 million Cubs project said, be careful. I've been hearing for those are for priority mail only, and the receiver will get hit with a postage due. Also, Royals 417 said there has been quite a bit on Twitter that showed how it isn't working like the video showed. So
okay. Well,
so just, you test it out, let us know. There's no problem trying it, right? I mean, and if it works, it'd be awesome.
To your point, in this hobby, and Uncle Rich and Chris will know that it's not stagnant. Things are always changing. You always want to try to be, always looking to learn new things. And that's why we're here, right? We have all these years, over 200 years of experience collecting, and try to talk about it and teach other folks, and also learn ourselves about other stuff.
We're constantly learning. If you are not, and if you are somebody who does a lot of shipping and you're waiting to go to the post office to pay for the postage and get the labels made and all that with packages beyond packages, you're killing a lot of time on yourself. Just use a software, do it, and then you can even go in the post offices and open. As long as it's not international, it's over a certain amount of weight, you can just drop it in the drop box, you know what I mean? And then they'll handle it. Like I did that this morning. I go Saturday mornings, I get up at like 8 a.m. for the show. I went to post office, dropped everything off, and done. No lines, no waiting for anything. I mean, unless you all ultimately want a receipt. But if you're using the software like Pirate Ship, I can go and I can track each package or pull up anybody's name, search it, whatever. It's super easy, super friendly, saves a ton of time. So
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, if you're going to the post office waiting in line to mail a package, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
There are other easier ways. So
absolutely.
Well, guys, I know we've gone way over. I don't know if you guys.
We've done 2 shows today. Almost 12:30. Jeez.
Wait. Does that mean where's John at? Do we get paid double time? No,
yeah.
Well, I want a raise. Then double time will actually be worth something.
Right.
Let's see. Just a shout out for next week's show. I'm on with Dr. Beckett and Jeremy at Sports Cards Live 1. Well, guys, I really enjoyed being on with you guys today. So I know
we enjoyed your jacket. That livened up the procedure.
Hey, you gave us as the engineering host. You gave us almost a full show, right? Like we had almost 2 shows.
We had to pay you too. So if we're going to pay you, we're going to make you actually work for your money.
Right.
Yeah. All right, any parting words, Chris? Or
he's got to pay for those lights on his jacket to run.
Got to buy the batteries.
I guess this is the time where we plug our social media accounts.
You can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Follow me at Stalgum, stalgum.com and baseballcardpedia.com.
I'm still at Saber Geek, and plus you can read Klein's Corner at GTS Distributors. I've got one column that they'll release probably in the next week or so, and then the final column for the year will be we're a community. The people who watch us are a community, and we're grateful and thankful for everybody who watches me blather most weeks, and smart people like Chris and Jeff and Val, who actually say things that make sense, and we're our own community, and I think there's a lot to be said, and I think the more we understand and appreciate the whole hobby community too, the better off we are. And wear your mask.
Yes. There you go. For me, my YouTube is Deafness45. Do auctions weekly every Tuesday night. I have a lot of other content going on almost daily. On Twitter, you can follow me at I am Deafness45, and on Instagram as well at I am Deafness45. And again, I love being on the show with you guys. I love showing up here. I love checking out the show when I'm not on. I think we got a great thing going on here. So appreciate each and every one of you guys and everybody who watches. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who watched. Appreciate it. And you can catch me at NASCAR Radio on Twitter. And we have a new outro, so we're going to play that here. And may
spend a lot of money on this.
What's that, Chris? Oh, okay, yeah. I was saying,
spent a lot of money on this outro.
Yeah,
so.
May everybody's retail shelves be full. So.